Hello everyone, welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, and, well, enjoy this time at the monastery, because we ain't getting it back. So yeah, this part is primarily support focused, but we get to support with Annette, the blessed little platelet. God bless her soul, she's so adorable. Oh god, no, I'm not looking forward to that endgame. Yes, I had to do the unthinkable, but I'll explain why when we get to the time. I didn't want to, it's just a case of if I didn't do it, I'd have to reset. I really didn't feel like resetting. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
So Annette's whole thing is that, you know, she just wants to try her hardest, and that's just ingrained into her character. She just always wants to try her best, try her hardest, and keep going. Everyone tells her, you know, you can take it easy and so on, but it's just like, she doesn't do it in a way to be prideful, it's just in her nature to try her best and stuff like that. So, you know, she's obviously very humble and so on. I want to see where more of her character arc goes, because I know she has daddy issues. I know she really has daddy issues. But obviously, you know, with her, she tries a lot because she enjoys it. Maybe, you know, actually, I do remember one bit where she does make a mistake and that really gets to her, but Casper's able to perk her back up. So obviously, you know, she tries her best and she kind of has that innocence to her. It's just that when the reality hits, it can really hurt her. But obviously, she shouldn't give up because she is wonderful and she tries so hard. She's so sweet. Bless Annette. She is like, I like how despite being obviously like the baby of the group, she still has that, you know, maturity to her and still feels like an actual woman. You know, I look at Annette, it's like, yeah, she looks very childlike, but she still acts like a grown woman, and that's adorable. I think that's very lovely. It's like Mercedes. Mercedes looks lovely and sweet, but she's still a grown woman. It's not like Flame, who is, like, even though she's very articulate, she's still kind of like a baby girl, just because of how excitable and she is and so on.
Sorry, Professor, but I have to run. Thanks again for your help.
Oh boy, yeah, this cast is funny.
Who put this stupid barrel here?
Fucking barrels. Ugh. Absolute worst. So yeah, then we got, you know, Petra to go through and so on and so on. Yeah, Petra and Ferdinand's support is actually quite interesting because this is actually quite good for their characters. Because obviously, Ferdinand's very much about being a nobility, but he, through Petra, learns about, you know, how Bridget fights, and he admits if it were not for, like, you know, size numbers, because, like, I think Bridget has geographical advantage and fighting advantage, like, were it not for the size numbers, you guys would have won, and he's, like, really impressed by that. So obviously, he's really impressed because he thought, like, oh, Fodlan's the strongest power there is. Like, oh, but no, like, all things considered, Bridget could have beat us if the sizes were the same, and so on. And like even Petra's like, there's a lot about Fodlan I didn't like. I was pretty much like, there's so much I've learned coming to Fodlan that I'm really appreciative, and I like that they're able to bond over that. They don't see other cultures as, you know, oh, we're better, or like, you know, oh, this is like, we do this better. No, they naturally, like, it's just learning from other cultures to become better, and I really appreciate that. Again, I am the type of person that likes to travel and go to other cultures. In fact, I'm going to Cuba at the end of the year. Sisterless out there. But, you know, so, and obviously, you know, I've been to Australia, I've been to Ghana, I have been to Croatia, I have been to Portugal, and I really love all these different cultures and how they do things and how their lifestyles are. Granted, when you're on holiday, it's a bit different because you're more there for the luxury, but it is just fascinating. You know, it's just fascinating to be there and learn about them and how to do things. Again, I'd love to go to Greece and I'd love to go to Japan sometime. I mean, I know a lot of people that love to go to Japan just because of, well, not just anime and games, but also just like their Fuji mountains and their cherry blossoms. Oh my god.
Bridget is stuck
yeah.
Dagda and Fodlan. It is
Yeah, so obviously for Bridget, one of their things, because they're stuck between two big powers, they need to really improve their fighting techniques, and, you know, that's cool. Yeah.
I must fight to live and to protect my
so obviously, you know, their strength lies in their fighting skills. So obviously, yeah.
But perhaps the Empire's victory was
oh, so yeah.
geographic advantage or divine intervention.
So yeah, sorry. So I got that a bit wrong. It was more to do with, you know,
that is what I think.
The Empire probably just like, because again, maybe they were fighting on their home soil or something like that, or maybe they just knew the land better, they were able to win. Because obviously, you know, the environment in which you fight and where wars take place can be a huge turning point for any battle.
But there is no disgrace in losing ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant of other cultures as long as you can learn about them or willing to accept them. If you remain ignorant or it's a case of you won't move on, it's like, no, this is how I think and I refuse to move on, that's the problem. If it's a case of I just didn't know, then you just didn't know. That's, you know, you can't expect everyone to know everything, you just learn. It's like that bit in Path of Radiance with Ike and the Lagoos, where he calls them subhumans at first, because that's the only term he's ever heard. It doesn't mean it out of malice. It's just like, oh, I've only ever heard you called subhumans. I didn't mean it. And obviously Ralph's like, okay, you're clearly sorry. And again, here we have another point of Ferdinand being Ferdinand. Because obviously he sees Mercedes as like, you're praying and you're doing it selflessly. You're not doing it for personal gain. You're just doing it because, you know, you are such a loving person. It's like, what you're doing is so admirable. And obviously he's going about, that's what noble should do. Whereas Mercedes is like, I just kind of do this because I like to pray. So obviously, you know, again, it's like Caspar. He thinks that what they're doing is out of obligation and duty, whereas they just do it for personal reasons.
I know exactly.
And obviously, Mercedes is just going along with him because she's sweet, but at the same time, it is a bit much. He's getting carried away. But, you know, that's just Ferdinand's deal. He sometimes gets carried away. But again, there's nothing wrong with getting carried away about something you care about. Like, again, I know people where they want to discuss, like, sometimes they want to discuss, like, games or anime, and sometimes they'll go so in depth with it, where I'm just like, okay, I really can't contribute much. But again, I can't blame them for liking something so much, you know. It props them for being passionate. It's just a case of, you know, sometimes you need to know when to reel back so that you can both speak on even footing. Because again, I can easily speak to people about Metroid and go on and on and on and on and on and on. But obviously, I like to just make it be a bit more easygoing. If we get that in depth, then we get that in depth. But I don't just go throw all out there at certain things. And normally go, some of these like closed textures are a bit blotchy. Yeah.
On the other hand, we cannot stand idly by while...
It was great talking to you, but...
And obviously, he can be a bit exasperating. Obviously, Mercedes is nice, but she's like, okay, you know, you're starting to really starting to run your mouth. I need to get going.
Mercedes?
I need to go, yeah. And he even forgets, like, where the hell did she go? So yeah, who's after this? I know Manuela and Hanneman have their actual first support, and it's you know, it's funny, because Hanneman. I think this one's Caspar or someone else. Yeah, it's Caspar and... Oh, yeah. See, this one, again, I really like this one. Because in most cases, Caspar would be that whole, oh yeah, I'm the strongest. I'm going to be better than you, Edelgard. I'm strong. Oh, we're like, Caspar, for God's sake, you know. Oh, she was like, whatever, I don't care. Caspar, for God's sake, would you grow up? But, you know, now they're actually going into family politics. And it's interesting because Edelgard does not hold back in, you know, talking about how piece of shit his brother is. You know, he's such an lazy fool. And she's like, Caspar, you're way better than him, and yet you get the short end of the stick. And, you know, Caspar admits, fair enough, he is kind of shitty. At the same time, he does defend his brother, like, why he feels the same way, but because of how the whole title thing works, he probably doesn't want to lose it. He doesn't want to be put in any situation where he could possibly lose that thing once his grandfather goes. And stuff like that. Whereas Caspar's just kind of out for him, just kind of prove himself, and you know, that's what motivates Caspar to prove himself. But Edelgard like does see like just because he's been granted this position of power, he didn't earn it. Like again, if Caspar was up to the job, he should be the one because he's clearly better. He's the better of the two. Yeah. Whereas like some people are given titles through inheritance and they shouldn't do that. I mean, granted, you know, their inheritance can help motivate them. Like, you know, my father was this, I want to be just like him, and that could probably maybe easier to secure their position, but they should still work for it. And that's what Edelgard's going on about. At the end of the day, you shouldn't inherit a job, or you shouldn't inherit a title or anything like this, or you should earn what you've been given, and everyone deserves a fair chance of earning it. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Tough shit. But if you are, no matter where you come from, if you're good enough, you're good enough. And again, I like that. I like that it's not just, you know, it's, you know, it's not just her, like, she does bash his the whole thingamajig and how this thing, but Caspar's not so arrogant as to be like, no, you leave my brother alone. He admits, yeah, it's kind of true.
I guess I'll just have to fight for you.
And you know, she does say, like, you know, she's not like, oh, I just promised you this, Caspar. It's like, if you're good enough, I will do this. You know, you can have it. And I like that between the two. There's that nice middle ground. But he obviously he's still a little rambunctious. Oh, Caspar. Oh, you still got another one. Oh yeah, this one with Petra. And again, this one, again, is one of the deeper sides to Caspar, because obviously Petra wants to be friends and all that jazz, and as she goes into Ace, she does have some resentment, but she can't let that go better with her. But Caspar, because of how he feels and the way he acts, he's very, very upset about what happened, and he can't comprehend Petra being so warm and friendly to him. Which is fair enough. When someone you know, or someone you're directly tied with has done something so awful, you're obviously going to be kind of guilt-ridden even though you didn't do it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to realize you are not them, you shouldn't be blamed for it. It's the same way people should not blame others for what happened for what they did, maybe what their ancestors did, but shouldn't blame people. Like, okay, I'm gonna get a bit touchy here, but it's like how people say, you know, don't think all Germans are Nazis. it's that type of thing. Just because, yes, the Nazis were German, not every German is a Nazi. So just because, you know, and I'm sure there are some German people who maybe had Nazi ancestors, something like that, or just they probably feel guilt-ridden over what happened to the Jews over the Holocaust. And, you know, obviously, but they shouldn't go beating themselves up. They didn't do it. They weren't directly responsible. That type of thing. And it's the same way, they should, other people, the ones who suffer, they're the ones whose people suffer, shouldn't hold a grudge against those who were completely innocent, even if they are tied to those who did it. Again, they're not the ones who did it. Don't blame them. Yeah. It's that type of thing. You don't blame people for the stuff they haven't done. Again, you look at people for who they are, not what, you know, the others, like, they just happen to be connected with. And so on. I could go on, but I'd rather not. I don't want this to get too thing. And that's how what Petra's saying to Caspar. Yeah, your father did it, but you're not your father. And even then, what happens between my dad and your dad? Not us. We can have our own relationship. Oh yeah, so here we have Flane and Linhardt. And again, this shows Linhardt being a lot more invested in people because he's interested in Flane's crest and the fact that it's so similar to the person who, like, to a certain, like, historical figure. Which I think I know where this is going. I don't ever reach there because, again, okay, I don't reach there in Crimson Flower because, again, you're not allowed to be with Flane in Crimson Flower, which sucks. Yeah, because she goes her own way. You know, Crimson Flower, you probably have the least number of church units. Like, there's no Setheth, there's no Catherine, there's no Cyril. You can still have Shamir, Manuela, and Hanneman, and there's no Gilbert either, but you can have Alois, and so on. So, again, I like that, you know, when Linhardt applies himself, he can be really, you know, he can be really involved, he can be very astute, and so on. He is a really, you know, when he applies himself, he's great. He just needs to find the right situation to do so, which he doesn't seem to do often, but nevertheless, yeah. And it's just, you know, it's interesting that parallel, the fact that she's so uncharacteristically similar. Like, it's not just the class, it's physical appearance and attitudes as well. It's like, this can't be mere coincidence, like, good lord. But obviously Flane's like, I don't like prying this much. You don't appreciate being compared to someone like that. I reckon it's because, you know, there is a reason why she is so similar. But obviously Flane's like, you're starting to get a bit personal here, you know. And it's not nice to just be compared to someone or be assumed, you know, people just assume, make these assumptions about you. It's never nice. But, you know, Flane is being Flane. She's just adorable. Bless her soul. My understanding is that you have a very high affinity for the art. And it's funny because you know, Linhardt has the same crest. It's minor, but it's the same, whereas Flane's is major. Yeah. Indeed. Flane's just got such a bright little face. Bless her soul. She's just so sweet, and I love her for it. Again, she's like if Florina and Nino had a fused together, and you just gave birth to this. No, not gave birth. Just created this adorable little baby. Well, granted, actually, all things considered, she is more like Nino in terms of things, just how childlike and stuff she is. But again, she is very mature for her age and like her mannerisms and so on. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is another interesting one. Flane and Manuela. This shows that Flane is knowledgeable, but she's not very wise because, you know, like, she's never been to an opera. She lacks a lot of outside experience. And I reckon that's a lot to do with her upbringing. And obviously Manuela's just, you know, surprised about that and just telling more about her. And obviously Flane's never heard her sing. So obviously this could be like Ferdinand's, where Flane is really entranced by Manuela. And Manuela obviously appreciates that.
It makes me happy to hear.
But, you know, and it's also, because again, Flane has, like, it's not just like others where it's like, oh, idolizing. Flane has that childlike innocence, which is, honestly, it's kind of a bit, there's something about childlike admiration that's, you can't help but feel, you know, it just feels a lot more wholesome when, you know, you're idolized by someone like that. It's like, you know, when kids see celebrities and they're just like, they lose it. They're so happy to see them. It's one thing for a fan to see a celebrity that's an adult, and, you know, they get excited and it's all very nice. When a kid sees them, it's like they've seen their literal hero. Like, I've seen it, like, you know, sometimes the Marvel hero, some like Tom Holland visits people in the hospital and they get so excited because it's like a superhero come to life for them. And I reckon it's kind of like, maybe this with Flane, just like learning about Manuela and then probably getting to hear her sing, will be like, oh my god, this is like, you know, this is like she's like an angel. Yeah. But obviously this also ties into Flane, the fact she doesn't know about this, because everyone seems to know about Manuela's reputation. They know about the opera company, and yet Flane doesn't. But that could be, you know, that could be to the fact that I reckon Flane was sheltered a lot when growing up.
Although I was quite a bit younger at the
time. So yeah, sorry, I've been talking a lot.
As a matter of fact. Oh, well,
Oh man, I don't know how, like, with Let's Play, granted, you know, with Let's Play, actually talking a bit more, with Let's Plays, my voice seems to run out quicker, but that's because with Let's Plays, I try to talk constantly, whereas live streams, though I talk a lot, at the same time, I'm also playing the game simultaneously, so I don't talk as much, and even then the sound brothers is talking for me. But yeah, with Let's Plays, like, again, if I do multiple parts in one day, and I like to, just so I have multiple parts recorded, granted, it means that sometimes I can't keep up with modern trends. Like, again, with the Smash Bros. 1, it's not out yet, but by the time it's uploaded, we'll know. We will know. Yeah. But sometimes my voice, you know, my mouth gets a bit sore. Sometimes, just because I'm talking so much. But again, the reason I talk so much is because I want to make these Let's Plays engaging. Because, you know, anyone can just watch, or I feel, like, again, I can just upload gameplay footage and, you know, anyone can watch it and it'll be the same, like, it will just be gameplay footage and stuff like that. But I want to be involved with the game, you know, I want to get my point across and I want to discuss things and just talk as much as possible because I feel that's what makes a Let's Play engaging. Sometimes, yeah, I waffle and sometimes, you know, I repeat myself, but I like to feel like, you know, with Let's Plays, you know, if I'm talking, it actually feels like an actual Let's Play, rather than just watching footage of the game. You know, and granted, watching footage of the game is part and parcel of it, and so on, but at the same time, I like to be as involved as possible. That's why I like SGB so much, because when it comes to Let's Plays, they are so involved. Granted, there's at minimum one, because sometimes it's just Johnny, but there's like usually 3 people involved and they can bounce off each other. Me, again, that's why at first I was so on board with Olivia joining me, and that's why with the hard mode playthroughs I have other people join me, because, you know, we can bounce off each other and discuss things. You know, I think so far with 3 houses I've done well for being just me. Obviously, you know, when it comes to other routes, I will get more people on board, but I think so far I've done pretty well when it comes to being just a solo Let's Play, and considering, you know, this is quite a lot of parts. But again, there's so much to discuss with 3 houses, and I think that's a good thing. That is a very, very good thing. Oh, right. I just need to quickly take a sip.
Oh, wait. I meant to say the former.
So yeah, obviously this is Manuel and Hanneman. Hanneman's just, you know, trying to, you know, point out Manuela's flaws and how she should improve herself. But obviously Manuela's being kind of snarky about it. It's like, oh, it's like, yeah, but you're just a stiff old fool and you're a foreman, but what would you know, and stuff like that.
Leave everyone alone. And
yeah.
Focus on your precious.
So obviously Manuel is frustrated with him because he keeps pointing out the flaws. Obviously people don't like that. But obviously Hanneman's just doing it for her benefit. But he probably does it a little bit, I wouldn't say incessantly, but frequently. And, you know, obviously Manuel doesn't, you know, no one wants to be criticized. It's natural to be criticized when you're wrong and stuff like that. And obviously Hanneman's like, for God's sake, stop this. And he does bring up, you tell, you know, you don't like it when other people have a go at you, but yeah, you just let loose. Yeah.
A handle on. Well, I've never.
So obviously they bounce off each other so well, and I love this. But as I was saying, you know, no one likes to be criticized. I mean, that's part of life. You are going to be criticized, that's how you learn. But no one likes to be criticized repeatedly. Because it goes from criticism just plain nagging, and no one likes nagging.
Make you and the rest of us much happier.
I will not.
And obviously Hanneman's just trying to help people, but obviously at times it can feel a bit irksome.
Go on. If you think you can
yeah, come on, I'd love to see them fight. Fight! Just, and Manuela just jumps on Hanneman and starts punching him in the face, and Hanneman's like, oh my god, Manuela, calm yourself. It's like, never. Calm your tits, Manuela. Never. My tits are fantastic. Yeah. They're going to make such a good married couple. Okay, so that's the end of that part. Thank you all very much for tuning in. So, next bit, I don't know exactly what's happening, but all I know is we're definitely going to see Edelgard become Emperor, and then from there, it's time to make a very, 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 very important choice. Until then, thank you all very much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care, and have a wonderful day.